This man named John Jones had entered a cave near Utah Lake with the intention of exploring. During the search, he decided that he would make a new record by going into the narrowest place in the cave. But he did not know that this decision would be the last decision of his life. He was crawling forward in the narrow passage of this cave, known as Naughty Patty Cave. But after losing his way, he accidentally entered a part of the cave where no one had gone to date, a place as narrow as a grave, where it was difficult even to breathe. Unfortunately, in this condition, John got stuck upside down. This is the story of 26-year-old John Jones, whose last 27 hours were spent in this cave. Viewers near Salt Lake City, Utah, is a small rock formation inside which lies this fascinating hydrothermal cave. It is pretty famous because of its narrow, slippery, and crooked paths, in which there is only one way to go inside, and that too is only 30 inches wide. Only those youth whose waist and chest are less than 30 inches can enter it. Every year, about 20,000 people come here to hone their skills. But then, between 1999 and 2004, some accidents happened here, and many questions were raised about the cave's safety. On one occasion, a 23-year-old young guy was trapped inside this cave for 7 hours. On another occasion, a young man remained stuck upside down in the cave all night. Due to these accidents, the authorities closed Naughty Patty Cave in 2006. However, professional cavers said that if it has to be closed, it should be closed only for people with no experience of caving, because often only those people get trapped there. The battle for the cave continued between the professional cavers and the officials. Finally, in 2007, it was reopened with new rules. A management team was formed which would allow only people with good caving experience and professional equipment to enter the cave. They had to apply for a permit 21 days before going to Naughty Patty. Two brothers from Salt Lake City, John and Josh Jones, also applied for the same license. On November 24, 2009, at 8 p.m., John Jones entered the Naughty Patty cave system with his group. Both brothers had some previous caving experience, but were going into Naughty Patty for the first time. Everything remained normal for an hour after entering the cave, during which they explored the biggest cavity called Big Slide. This was the point when John, Josh, and two other friends took the risk of going deep into the cave. That is the most challenging part of the cave, which is called the birth canal. Birth canal is so narrow that till now, very few people have been able to go near it. Not only is it very narrow, but it is also challenging to find the way. Many people have gotten stuck on the way to the birth canal, but John, his brother, and two friends were quite fit, so they decided to go to the birth canal. It was decided that while the rest of the team members remained behind, the idea of going to the birth canal was actually John's, which is why he was ahead of them all. The path was so narrow that John was crawling on his stomach, thinking that he was entering the birth canal, while he unknowingly took a wrong turn and went down a path called the corkscrew. It was a place where only the thin cavers could go. If you look at Cave's map, it is the path that John has to go right towards birth canal, whereas he takes a left turn. As he moved ahead, the path started getting narrower, and now he could not turn back, but he kept moving forward, hoping the path ahead would be wider and he would turn back. Ahead, he saw a gap at the bottom and thought that he might be able to turn back from there. But unfortunately, when he entered this 10 by 18-inch path, there was a dead end ahead. Now John was stuck upside down in a space the size of a washing machine, his head down, legs up, and the space was so tight that even his hands were getting pressed into his body, meaning he was not even able to use his hands. He tried to get out of there but did not succeed even once. At this time, John started calling his brother. After a few minutes, when Josh came there, he saw only John's legs. First, he made fun of his brother's condition, but when he realized the grave situation, Josh also got scared. Josh held his brother's legs and pulled them several times, but this made the matter worse because now John went down even further. John was stuck upside down and could not move his body at all. At this point, both brothers felt they needed professional help. The issue was that there was no mobile signal in this depth of the cave to call 911, so Josh had to come out and make the call. After about 3 hours, the first rescue team reached the spot. It was Susie Mottola who tried to get John out for 2 hours, but John was trapped worse than they expected. The space was so tight that Susie had to cut John's jeans to find an extra 1 or 2 centimeters of space, but even this did not work. Eventually, Susie also got exhausted and came back outside. John's wife, his daughter, and 30 rescue team members had also reached there. They were considering various methods of getting John out, one of which was to cut off his legs, but ultimately they all agreed on the use of ropes and a pulley system which would be tied to John's legs and pulled. However, the issue was that they had to drill pulleys in the cave stones so that the ropes did not hit the rocks, and the entire load fell on the pulley. The pulley system was started by drilling in the cave stones, with the risk that the rocks might break and block the path, but there was no other option at the moment. Doing this work at a depth of 700 feet was not only very difficult, but also very time-consuming. Due to the narrow path, only one rescue worker could go inside at a time. The number of rescue workers was now more than 100, but all of them were unable to do anything. A doctor present in the rescue team made the matter more serious when he said that because John was upside down, he only had 10 hours. That is, after this time, his organs would fail one by one. The human body is made to remain upright, and the heart is located in the upper part of the body. The heart pumps and supplies blood to the entire body, and about 80% of the blood is provided to the lower parts, where the supply reaches quickly with the help of gravity. However, because John is now upside down, his heart has to work harder to pump blood upwards. The doctor said that due to this, John could have a heart attack at any time. After knowing this, the rescue workers tried harder to straighten John at least. After waiting hours, the pulleys set up and pulled John by his legs, but soon they ran into new problems. John's legs were in such a position that they could not bend, and every time they pulled his legs, his feet hit the cave ceiling. Finally, with great difficulty, they managed to get John out of the cave quite a bit, but at the last moment, a pulley slipped through the cave wall, and now John was stuck back where he was before. John was now getting quite panicky, so a two-way communication system was sent inside so that he could talk to his wife and relax a bit. Finally, after 19 hours, preparations for pulling John out again were complete. This work had to be done very carefully because there was a lot of pressure on John's legs with each pull. With great difficulty, he was taken out to a great extent, so much so that the rescue worker could now see his face. The rescue worker later said that John's eyes were red and there was a moment of happiness on his face. For the first time in the last 19 hours, John was able to see out of that narrow passage. Now, only one last pull was needed, and John would have completely come out. But then, with a sudden jerk, the pulley failed again, and John was stuck back in the same place he had been stuck for the last 20 hours. In the last attempt to save John Jones, they tried to break the stones around him by drilling, but probably it was too late. John had stopped moving and was not responding to anything. His wife also tried to revive John on the radio, but to no avail. At this point, a brave paramedic had to check John's pulse. What everyone feared happened. John Jones was declared dead at 11:50 p.m. on November 25, 2009. John's wife couldn't believe the news that her husband had died because of such a small mistake. She hoped that perhaps the pulse in the leg might not have been checked correctly and that her husband was still alive. But the reality was in front of everyone. What the doctors had expected to happen after just 10 hours, John's good health had helped him survive for 17 hours. Many plans were made to retrieve John's body, including the idea of taking out the body in 2 parts, but ultimately it was decided to leave the body there and seal the cave forever, declaring it John's grave. Even today, John Jones' dead body remains in the same position inside Natty Patty Cave as a reminder of the danger of cave exploration. Outside the cave, there is also a plaque in his memory. I hope you all will like and share this video of past journey.